I love Tom. I'm really liking Thomas off too, because it's like the appropriate question. If he doesn't get killed, are you gonna kill us all? Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are here with another episode of Banner of the Stars 2. Before that, something I think I promised last episode, but somehow forgot to do or failed to do. The board is back. As I mentioned, I have added... Okay, the zoom is working finally. I don't know why I made him so much smaller. Hold on a sec, let me fix this live. He is for some reason smaller than everybody else around him. Well, now it's probably because realizing now it's probably because I cut him out from a smaller picture and didn't use the same sizing that I used for everybody else. Oh well, whatever. Tomasoff, of course, who is now, I guess, the administrator, technically, according to the list, of Lobnos 2, now that Maydeen is dead. I've also clarified the relationship chart here. I know it's been a long time since anybody's ever seen what was last here, where it was just a red X for the whole relationship tree, right? But, you know, we got Lala here, who is... I don't know what to say here. Dealing with Engusen and Dokufu, but wasn't actually, like, completely enemies of them. Well, of them in relationship to them, I mean. Obviously, they want to use her. Although, obviously, that's weird for Dokufu, considering that he is essentially a eunuch at this point. So he's just trying to use her for power, I guess. Obviously, she finds herself to be enemies of them for the way that they want to use her. And of course, they are enemies of Maydeen, Dokufu specifically because he killed him, but then also Engusen because he's just the enemy in this perspective, right? He wants to have Maydeen use his power or give him that power, and I don't want to say he was instrumental in, but he was a part of Maydeen's death, so... And, of course, I have Maydeen as a white line still to Lafiel and Jinto. Obviously, they are using one another. These two have their personal goals to achieve in the system. Maydeen has his own goals. They're not exactly friends. Even Jinto says, I didn't like this man. So, unfortunate, considering I grew to like him near the end. It was waves. It was waves. He did respectable things, and then he did, like, self-serving things. And then at the very end, he withheld information. So, it is what it is. I guess the only other thing is coming up. We've got the Lady of Chaos herself. I believe, according to the next time on, should be making an appearance. I guess last time I was calling her Baroness, and her actual thing has been Duchess this whole time, so I guess I've just been getting that wrong. But yeah, otherwise, that is the existing board of characters for the show as it is so far. Otherwise, I guess the thing to find out is Lafiel going to leave the system as she's supposed to? Why is the Lady of Chaos coming here? Because that's a bit up in the air too, because I believe she is currently involved in the chase with all the other admirals about who's going to get the glory for taking out that one evacuating United Mankind fleet that's still out there. Because that was just like a thread that's been left to the wind at the moment. Not important to me, but it's important now that the hint that she is coming, why would she be coming here? Unless that was just a conversation that was being had amongst them again, and is actually unrelated to this, in which case, bleh. Otherwise, I guess, like, the vast majority of this board no longer matters to the story. So, There's only one way to find out, and that is let's go ahead and see.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, the last conversation with Samson from last episode. Again, it's covered before, I'm pretty sure, in the different point of view from the animation. As we saw in the preview at the beginning of the season, I'm pretty sure she cries on him, so obviously we're just reviewing the Abriels Don't Cry, and from last time and this time, just to double set it in. Call him by his full name. Are you supposed to...
殿下、状況は認識しております。最大50名の陸戦隊が編成できます。
Everyone wants to go fucking get Jinto.
閣下の囚われている場所の付近に強行着陸させ、突入するのが最善かと考えます。
それで生産は？
成功確率は 0.08 から 0.21 あたりか。
Wow, pretty damn low.
失敗したとき、陸戦隊はどうなるんだ？
全員が帰還不可能になります。
Fair, I don't like those odds.
移民の円滑な情勢に全力を。
それがご指示ですか？
そうだ。
わかりました。
次の領民代表は誰だ？
ああ、トマソフという人ですね。
すぐ呼び出すがよい。承認を略式で執り行う。今はあの者のことを忘れる。できるの？殿下。
Oh god, I'm always forgetting her name. I know it starts with an E. It's like an ERK name. I'm just zooming over here. Ikuria. Sorry, she was more of a figure last season, and here she's just like a shit stirrer. So it's been kind of hard to remember. There's also last season there was just a lot of in-talking between characters, so we kind of got to know who they were. And I don't think they like mentioned a lot of names this time around. She's just been shit stirring. She's been waiting for something interesting to happen, and now something interesting is happening, and I don't know, I feel like she's getting a lot of frowning from the front from her. I'm going to assume that what Lafiel is going to do is she is going to send the troops down. She sent the troops down to the port to make sure that Jinto's last mission is successful. Because there's got to be a degree of respecting Jinto's wishes here, right? And that Jinto's wishes are for Lafiel's mission to be successful. Counterintuitive to the whole hoping that Jinto survives this thing, but it's more important in the long run, I guess. Specifically that his last mission is accomplished. I don't know. Obviously, that's the unemotional point of view. Oh, there you go. Anguson isn't a druggie.
今度の便に混ぜてもらうのは無理でも次の機会にでも好きなところに移住したらいい。そして名前を覚えるのに困るぐらい子供を作ればいいじゃないですか。ああ、それは気づかなかった。
Well, fuck that. I thought Anguson was gonna be a bit smarter, and it turns out just a fucking idiot.
私がアブリアルでなかったなら。
いいでしょう。私が正式な整形首相になったら、あんたに真っ
Oh,
先に
okay, that was like a message to Jinto.
だから変な意地を張らずに、この若さも返しましょうよ。
ダメだ。男が一度口にしたことを覆すわけにはいかない。第一、俺を受け入れてくれる星などありはしない。
それにしたって、このままじゃどうしようもない。聞いたでしょ。アーブどもに女たちを残すつもりはさらさらないときた。この若様を殺して何になります？きっと大して面白くないですよ。ね、
Oh,
もう
where they
諦めま
shot
しょうよ。
him.
気が変わったからといって連絡します。構わないですよ
I
ね。
guess those are leeches that were coming out of the ceiling.
なぜですか？あんたまさか本気であの世の地獄を味わう予行演習をしてみたいなんて思ってるんじゃないでしょうね。私はごめんですよ。神の作った地獄なんてあるわけがない。でもアーブの地獄は多分実在するんですから。あの連中なら作りそうなこった。
ダメだ。
ああ、もうとにかく
Kind
戦
of
闘
just a
を
little
停止
bit
します。
horrified by the life on this planet.
それも許さねえ。こうなれば実力行使がある。俺たちは協力して女たちが連行されるのを阻止するのだ。
そんなつもりはありません。やりたければあんたたちだけでやりなさい。
Yeah, Dokufu has like
背中に気をつけてね。
no reason to be worried about the women. All the people in the central area got chemically castrated.
したらこいつを殺す。そしてお前が殺したと言いふらして偽物の地獄をたっぷり味わうがいい。
私には冤罪を甘んじて受ける理由はありませんよ。真実を証言してくれる人間ならいくらでもいます。あんただけが偽物の地獄を経由して本物の地獄へ行くことになるんです。もし存在すればの話ですが。
俺は本物の地獄に一足先に行って待った。アーブがお前の弁明を聞くかどうか楽しみに
I
して
mean, honestly, anywhere Dokufu is would be
恐れなければ
witnesses to say he wasn't there to do that.
あんたも腰抜けだ。アンガス。本当に勇気があるなら自分のしたことの結果は受けるがいい。
おう、見直したぞ腰抜け。このアンガスン様にそんな口を聞くと。だが俺は腰抜けよりも生意気なやつの方が何倍も嫌いだ。
冗談じゃない。あんたのくだらない意地に付き合わされて。
Here's the thing, Dokufu is never getting back into my graces, so I don't really give a shit that he's being a good person here.
いつまでこの男について
Or not a
る
good
つもりなん
person,
です。
smart person.
今さら後戻りできないっす。
所詮てめえは玉出しのふぬけ野郎なんだよ。
ああ、もう。
Fuck this guy, I guess. It's another X to mark off on the board. I thought they would side with Dokufu because I thought he was running the drug trade. Angusen, it doesn't take the drugs.
狩人第一艦隊21艦ロブナス門を通過しました。敵艦隊との距離は約2100ケドレル。敵はまっすぐこちらへ向かってきていますが、到達するまでには24時間はかかるでしょう。その間にさらに11艦が
Well, I guess this explains why she's here.
お分かりでしょうけど、敵が仕掛けてきてもまともにお相手なさらないでね。
もちろんです。
I don't think they set up the fact that the enemy fleet was heading to Lobnus.
まで居座って情報を収集した後、戦闘直前にスタコラに逃げ出す。あ、いや、速やかに撤退することが我が隊の任務ですから。
ノルマな泥神をからかうのって楽しいわ。
よかった。この任務が大層お気に入りのようだ。閣下さえ上機嫌なら大抵の問題はないも同然。
艦隊発見。味方と思われます。クテール級2隻。
Yeah, I guess they were supposed to have already retreated, but they're not doing so.
何をなさってるの？とっくに退避命令は出たはずよ。指揮官はどうなったの？
輸送艦主体であることから領主代行か代官が責任者だ。
だからそれはどうなった？
領主代行はパリューニュ子爵殿下です。
The very person that you have to report to.
10回ぐらいあったかしら。そのうち1回は会うべき時じゃなかったわ。これで会うべき時じゃない時に。
Or rather, that Lafiel is the princess and she is
何かの縁なんでしょう。
from a lesser family.
押してちょうだい。領主代行殿下に通信を。 アブリアル10将長、どういうおつもりなの？敵艦隊はこの報告を施行しているわ。ここにやってくるのは確実。直ちに避難しなさい。
まだだ、大公爵。
まだって、どういうことか説明してくださる？
It's an attack fleet if we were gonna orbitally bombard anybody.
つまりこういうことなのね、アブリアル10将長。この地上世界は罪人でいっぱいで、その罪人を移住させなければいけない。しかも一時撤退の前に。そして親切なあなたは彼らの要望を聞いてあげると。
囚人だけじゃない、監視もだ。
どちらにしても地上の方々の話じゃない。地上世界にこだわりすぎているんじゃなくて、アブリアル10将長。
Obviously, we've seen that she's gonna call her
だけど私はもう約束したんだ。
by her actual title, which means that there's going to be a moment of respect between these two.
一体どうするおつもりなの？
乗船完了までこの報告の保持をお願いする。
保持を期待されているのはもしかして我々か？
バカなことをおっしゃらないで。そんなことをしたら
That would give the Duchess
傷つくじゃない。
a reason to stay and fight, and we know that she loves that sort of thing.
そんなことはないと思うけれどもね。だってつい最近までこの報告は人類統合体のものだったのよ。やってくるのはその統合体のお仲間。そしてお忘れにならないで。この報告を守れば私の部下たちの幾たりかは死ぬのよ。あなたの領民を、それも罪を償うべき方々を守るために部下たちの命を費やす意味があるの？あのね、言いたくないけれどもありていに言うわ。戦えば負けるの。戦力の差から考えると奇跡でも起こらない限り完全に負ける。全滅しても不思議じゃない。
I think she's being
奇跡をいただけ
hyperbolic.
るかしら？アブリアル10将長。
いや、戦いに勝つことは要求しない。ただ時間が欲しい。
ひどいことをおっしゃるわね。私の船と部下たちを希望のない戦闘に
You could technically hold them off at a distance with like mines.
即刻この報告から立ち去りなさい。いいわね。
立ち去らない。領民たちは取り残されることを恐れているんだ、大公爵。
これも言いたくないけれども私も恐れているわ。スポール・アロン・セクパト・レトパーニュ大公爵ペネージュが無駄な戦いで部下を死なせたと思われるなんて最大の屈辱。
無駄じゃないぞ。
I wonder why she's holding back and revealing that Jinto is being held hostage.
私の約束じゃない。
It can't be pride.
帝国の威信、領主代行として来う。乗船完了までロブナス8国の保持を。
Ooh. First time I heard that.
こんなひねりのない率直な感想を誰も聞いていませんように。
一つ聞いていいかしら。私たちがこの報告に立ち寄らなかったらどうするおつもりだったの？
そなたたちは敵艦隊に先行しているのだろう。大公爵がここに来ないのであれば敵艦隊もここには来ないはずだ。
Cold hard logic.
でも私が要請を断ったらどうするおつもり？
地上に隠れるほかはない。
地上に隠れる？どうやって？
着陸能力のない輸送艦と突撃艦はそなたたちと対比させる。強襲輸送艦は地上世界に降りて海中に潜む。強襲輸送艦には乗せられるだけの移民を乗せ、私ももちろん登場する。
危ない賭けね。
Man, I appreciate that there's at least a plan.
しないなんてことあるのかしら。攻撃を受ければセース級ではひとたまりもない。
戦いであれば不運は仕方ないだろ
う。おっしゃる通りね。まさにこれは大いなる不運だわ。わかりました、領主代行殿下。要請を受け入れまし
There's
ょ
one
う。
thing the Duchess keeps doing. Not saying I hate it.
ただし、私は必ず守りきってみせるという当てのない体現相互はいたしません。それに全滅するまでこの報告を防御する意思もありませんわ。適当なところで引き上げさせていただきます。殿下に差し上げられるのはわずかな時間のみ。それでよろしゅうございますわね。
う。十分だ、大公爵。そなたに100万の感謝。 私の突撃艦もそなたの指揮下に加えてほしい。
それはお断りいたしますわ、殿下。足手まといですもの。それより殿下は少しでも早く作業を完了させることに専念してください。
分かった。よろ
That's
しく。
why she didn't share. I thought she would share the whole Jinto
し
thing.
たんですか？
私を誰だと思い、領主の中の領主、レトパーニュ大公爵なのよ。領主の頼みを無下にするわけにはいかないじゃない。たとえそれが代行であろうともね。
ですが、
Yeah, the difference between the bureaucracy and the nobility.
振る舞ってるじゃない。帝国の威信を守ることも政界軍の大事なお仕事よ。
それにしても限度があります。わずかな数の領民の被害妄想をなだめてやるために艦隊を危険にさらすなんて。
被害妄想かどうか私にはわからないけれども、あなたのおっしゃることはわかるわ。本当に効果的な嫌がらせ。
嫌がらせのための要求だと意識してのことじゃないでしょう。
そうでしょうね。アブリアルの本能よ。本能的にスポールの一番嫌がる状況。
Again, there was that part of the next time on where it's implied that she
被害妄想は領民
refers to her with an honorific that she's never said before.
バースライルとの情報連結が完了したようで。
So I kind of thought it would be that revelation.
領主副代行が地上のボートに囚われているそうです。
領主副代行ってどなた？
ハイド伯爵閣下ですね。
まあ、お気の毒。
なぜ殿下はこのことをおっしゃらなかったのでしょう。
私たちに知らせる必要のないこととご判断したからでしょ。
帰ってくる？
あ、
I would have thought if she revealed it, they would have
でも
enough time.
我が艦隊ならかなりの規模の陸戦隊を組織できます。救出に協力できるかと思いますが。
What I was about to
そして
say.
ただでさえ少ない戦力を削ぐの嫌だわ。私の部下たちを慣れない地上戦になんか参加させられない。
Oh, yeah, that's right. To be fair, the Ob hate ground, so makes
そ
sense.
れにハイド伯はアーブ貴族なのよ。
残念です。こうなればご無事を願うしかないですね。
私も残念よ。会ったのは一度だけど気に入っている。何しろアブリアルにあんな愉快なお召し物をまとわせたんですからね。まあ殿下みたいにメソメソ泣く気にはなれないけれども。
メソメソ泣いていた？
アブリアルは泣かない。なぜだかご存知？
いいえ。
皇帝は公平でなければならないの。少なくとも臣下にはそう思ってもらわないといけない。誰かのために泣くなら臣下一人一人全てのために泣かないといけないのよ。でもそんなことできるはずがないわ。会ったことも
I
ない。
mean, that's
名も
difficult.
知らない方のために涙は流せないもの。だから皇帝になるかもしれないアブリアルは誰のためにも泣かない。
なるほど。皇帝陛下は指一本で
Also goes back to what her dad said at the gravesite a long time ago.
そうよ。でもね、私たちスポールにはお見通し。アブリアルは時には泣くわ。殿下は幼い子供のように泣きじゃくっていた。
私にはそうは見えませんでしたが。
気に病むことはないわ、参謀長。それが普通だもの。ただ年若いアブリアルの涙すら見えないようでは、レトパーニュ大公爵位は告げないのよ。
Best character.
道場で
Duchess is the best character.
危険にさらそうというのではありますまいね。
道場？アブリアルに？この私が？そのようなたわごとをこの耳に再び入れたら、あなたの舌を私の可愛い鳥たちの餌にしてあげるから。
Birds. Hey, birds. You have cats? Unless cats is an Abriel thing and not a Nob thing.
頑張りな。こんなとこで死にたかないだろ。
What are the guys in the water that were sabotaging all this shit? Hey, you stop doing that.
私ら本当に助かるの？今さら何ガタガタ言ってんのよ。
You can't, like...
もうすぐアンガスたちがここまで来んのよ。
Oh, yeah,
あい
crab
つらのおも
bucket.
ちゃにされたやつはここに残りな。
You can't keep implying that these women are all the victims of sexual assault and then keep showing us them in this light. Yeah, one of those two is still alive.
準備完了。収容作業開始どうぞ。
ボルセス海面安定後離床を許可する。
ボールセスはこのまま後方の捕虜収容所まで突っ走ってもらう。もうクテール級輸送艦はいっぱいで客は異常できん。
了解しました。
今軌道上で異常作業中のトレクセスとこのダークセスも同様だ。ボールセスにはナウトクテルと共に一足先にロブナス門に突入してもらう。
我々は
I mean, still a lot of people out here to pick up.
了解しました。
I guess they could have turned off the outer gun ring and just let these people make it to like the next shore over.
水に浮かんでいるのがやっとのイカダを使うとは。しかしおかげで乗船時間は大幅に短縮できそうです。もしかしたら間に合うかもしれません。
領民代表を呼び出せるか。
はい、お待ちください。
こちら領主代行だ。地上の様子はどうだ。
一時に比べれば沈静化しましたが、まだ散発的に戦闘続行中です。
They're not showing us his full face. That has me concerned.
もう男しか残ってないのであろう。そのことを教えてやったらどうだ。ついでに
Oh,
港も
okay, never mind. It's him.
いい考えです。正直言ってあまり効果は期待できませんが、おっしゃる通りにしてみます。
それと副代行の消息に関して何かつかめてないか。
残念ながら何かありましたら真っ先にご報告します。
頼む。
I thought they were going to do a ploy where it was going to be the guy from the car.
なんだ。
副代行閣下の身に万が一のことが起こったとしたら、我々に何らかの処罰が下るのでしょうか。
そんなことはない。そなたたちの責任ではないからな。
I love Tom. I'm really liking Thomas off too, because it's like the appropriate question. If he doesn't get killed, are you gonna kill us all?
もし殿下がこの船から出て行こうとなさったら、少々手荒なことをしてでも止めさせていただきますよ。
案じるでない。私もそこまで愚かじゃないぞ。だいたいあの者の所在もわからない。
安心しました。
できるの、殿下。彼女に殿下と呼ばれたのは初めて。
Oh, damn it. I thought it was the Lady of Chaos that was being referred to. Metacuria.
そなた、生きてるのか。
So, this whole time I've been basing my expectations of this episode on one sarcastic statement from Metacuria. Oh, please pan back and show me everybody in the room is dead. Oh, damn it. Never mind. Not a bad episode. Not what I was expecting, though. I was expecting... I don't know. I was expecting the Duchess to come in, realize what was happening, plot a solution. Like, I didn't expect her to be so, I don't want to fight this time. Because every time we've seen her before, it's all been about, let's rush in there and get the glory. She's been like, what's his name? The other admiral who was talking about taking over a bunch of all the other fleet ships. And then, you know, I was thinking literally, hey, you have all these extra forces. What if you landed on the planet? We'll go get Shinto back. And she instantly nixed that the moment her supply officer says the same thing. Now, I didn't expect her to say, I'll cut your tongue up and feed it to my birdies. She's had a dominant streak, I want to say, towards her seemingly love interest as well. There. Literally the thing saying my love. But nothing that was like exactly as threatening. Like, I think she's threatened him with exile and stuff before, but not like, I'm going to physically hurt you. So, a little bit disappointed in that respect. I think I'm glad Dokufu got his for shooting my guy.
敵は対抗雷撃をする様子がありません。
参謀長、あなたのお仕事は分かっているわね。
敵艦隊前進を始めました。
時間に厳密な人って大好き。機下全艦に雷撃戦用意を下達。挑戦信号を打ちなさい。
敵艦隊ロブラス門を通過してきます。間に合わなかったか。
ジント。
Well then. I mean, the obvious thing to take away from that is, looks like we didn't make it Jinto, which has to imply, I think as we saw there at the very end, they're leaving the system, which means that they are going to leave Jinto behind. At the same time, well, I mean, we know Jinto gets rescued from the planet later. Rescued. He gets found on the planet later and dies, is what I'm still seeing. Sorry, I think my brain was going two different routes there. At least we saw, I'm going to assume, we didn't actually see it. I'm going to assume Dokufu got his. I'm still hoping that we're going to pan back, or Jinto's going to wake up, and we're going to see that everyone in the room was dead, or hopefully Anguson and Dokufu are both dead. Only from the perspective of, let's just make all these guys pay, and then the situation becomes that Jinto just has no way off the planet, right? They're going to leave, Jinto's going to be left behind, maybe United Mankind does land forces, and that's how Jinto gets in that position, or a thought comes to me now, the smoking gun of the atmospheric thing is done, but not by the OB. It's done by the United Mankind, apparently allies, because they said that they're not the United Mankind themselves. It's done by them, and then the last couple of episodes is just a Jinto trying to survive thing. I mean, obviously, what I'm clearly doing here is trying to guess at how this ends. I guess the same way I think in the first season, Crest of the Stars, that I was just like, what happened at the beginning? And then just kept trying to point out everything that I saw before. So, yeah. I don't really have a lot of thoughts here. Everything here was me trying to react to expectations and then pointing shit out as it happened. So, I think there's nothing else to do except to get into the fast forward. So, I'll see ya on the other side. Well, here we are on the other side of the, so to say flash forwards, the fast forwards. And I do have a couple of new thoughts here. Well, I don't have new thoughts, I just have more to say on the old thoughts. So, I'm still a little taken aback at how Lafiel doesn't mention Jinto's predicament to, I'm going to try and really say her name from now on, Letop Anu? even given the discussion about the Abriel in line to the throne having to shy away from preferential treatment to others. Requesting direct aid for one person could be seen as preferential treatment, sure, but in much the same way that she requested aid in helping the emigration, she could have shared the information about the op hostages. I wrote down hostages, obviously it's op hostage. Even without mentioning Jinto in particular. The crux of the conversation between Lafiel and Letopanyo was the consideration of loss of Star Force's life versus the need of former United Mankind citizens to emigrate. To include that an Ob had been taken hostage without including the information on why that made it personally important to herself would at least enter it into the discussion without making it specifically preferential. It feels like to succeed with a 50-man... Sorry, I messed up my own thought there. It feels like Lafiel is walking a socially constructed tightrope that she's made for herself. She is clearly willing to entertain the thought of rescue when someone else brings it up outside of herself, such as an 8 to 21% chance to succeed with a 50-man team, but she's unwilling to take direct action herself. Just feels like she needs to learn to take a more indirect action while appearing not to. Play the game you've placed yourself in better before Jinto dies. I understand it's a matter of not sacrificing people to rescue just one person, but it's also nobility, which we know get treated differently anyways. In this matter, I think Jinto is being treated differently due to Lafiel veering hard in the other direction to correct for her own feelings for Jinto. Which is, it's unfortunate, but it's costing Jinto, even though I feel like Lafiel considers herself to be doing the right thing. She's going too hard in the other direction. Anguson is just an idiot. He's not tied to the drugs. His only goal was to have kids, and despite his assertion that no planet would want him, we've made it clear that there are planets out there willing to take in criminals due to their own harsher laws to deal with them. I get that this guy has been planning this coup since before the system fell, but unlike the other characters we discuss here on the channel that have an amazing ability to pivot or react to situations as they appear, Char being like the best example from Gundam, this guy made a plan and is sticking to it no matter what happens or better opportunities occur. If Maydeen and Dokufu are dead, this guy needs to die before the end as well. I liked him as he showed up the first time because he's like powerful, strong guy, not going to bend to anybody. And then that not going to bend to anybody aspect of his personality just turned into his greatest weakness, and it's dumb. It's just dumb at this point. I honestly don't get the motivations of the other people in the control room either. The one guy killed his best friend because he's addicted to Alkiak. But when push comes to shove, he points a gun at Dokufu, the guy who understands and is actively talking about the need to get their next Alkiak fix. Siding with Anguson, the guy who doesn't take Alkiak and has no need for it. It makes no sense. You'd think the guy who just killed someone for drugs would support their drug dealer in a fight to ensure that they get more drugs. I guess also related to that, I'm not marking down Tarkufu or anyone down as dead until we see the room again. My concern is that Jinto got dropped, and I'm not certain enough as of why yet. Sure, he could have just been choked out and Anguson didn't see the need to hold him anymore, especially if he didn't need to threaten Dokufu, since he was already likely killed. At the same time, Dokufu could have pulled the trigger and shot Anguson, and he might have let go of him because he's dead too. Too many variables, and I try not to mark the board with what-ifs, and keep it to the known quantities. I appreciate the logic that Lafiel threw out about her plans had Letopano not shown up. I mean, Letopano points out that it's not a particularly good plan, and would likely have resulted in her death if United Mankind Fleet, technically the allies of the United Mankind Fleet, did the most cursory of surveys. But the fact that she reasons out that the fact that Leptanio's fleet is there also indicates an enemy fleet is on the way, and that she'd need to make these requests or come up with a plan. It's just smart thinking on her part. I think it reinforces the fact that Lafiel ain't no fool, and I appreciate that. I find it surprising that Leptanio points out that the Abriels are good at finding out what spores detest and find out ways to make them do it, not because it seems untrue, but more so that if I had to point out any single thing that I think Leptanio hated, sorry, I know I'm messing up her name constantly, maybe I was better off just calling her Duchess. Anyway, any single thing that I thought Duchess hated the most of all her appearances across the show so far, it would be boredom. More so, I would have thought running up to the enemy and then running away would be boring for her as well. Just feels like it's a pivot in her character. It's either that or she's going to play it out next episode and we're going to show that she is the same character I thought she was, and that she just wasn't happy talking to an Abriel. Alright, my last thought here. I have no idea how many of the men were fighting to make sure the women stayed on the planet. It seemed like the main reason for the fighting was to stay on the planet that the drugs were on. At least, that seemed like it for the guards, because I have to think that if that many of the guards were turned for it, then it must be a fairly high percentage of the prisoner population as well. Again, leaning back towards the guy who shot his friend in the face over drugs. So, seeing as we are going to be rolling into telling the remaining prisoners that they are all men now, I'm not sure how they are going to take it. Considering that all they can really do is get upset and lash out, or just accept it, the people who were fighting for the drugs and not to emigrate have no real reason to continue fighting at the moment, especially considering the lack of leadership to fight against, and that the drug-motivated ones shouldn't have anything to fight for at the moment, knowing that the fleet that would be taking them away is leaving for the foreseeable future. I mean, granted, I don't think they actually know, because no one's talking to them about the fleet leaving. But even Maydeen pointed out that if you leave for 2 months, the drug thing is going to take over. And if these people were fighting for the drug thing, Maydeen's dead now. So, literally, there's no reason to continue the fighting. Especially if the women are already gone. All that needs to happen now is to find out that Angus is dead. And I think the situation is going to resolve itself, at least in terms of the fighting, right? I guess Tomasov could mess things up by trying to be a good guy, but I don't know. Really, it all comes down to what's going on with Jinto. That's the main crux of the last 3 episodes here. Because I'm still heavily believing that Jinto is going to die at the end, and the next season, Banner of Stars 3, being only 2 episodes long, gonna be something else. I don't know. Because after that, it's Tales of the Stars, Story of the Stars? I don't remember what the last one is, but the last one's just an OVA by itself. Has to be unrelated to the rest of this. So, we're in the end game. We've been in the end game. So, next episode, we'll find out then. But, thank you again for joining me. Once again, I have been Theta. This has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?